Joe Biden is everything we said he is and everything we know he is. And his behavior should appall everyone. And let me tell you why. Biden is a man who has spent his entire career as a politician, who served in the Senate from the age of 30 to the age of 65, and as vice president, obviously, the last almost 4 years. He's an arrogant know-nothing who believes he is among a handful of privileged few. How dare Paul Ryan even think he can be vice president? How dare Paul Ryan sit at the same desk with him? Biden was petulant. He was out of control. He was rude and arrogant because he's used to be treated like a king. For his entire career, he's been called honorable, senator, and now vice president. He's been pampered. He's exercised enormous power, and he's won election after election in one of the bluest states in the nation. In other words, he's never had a serious challenge to his power. I watched this man and his antics, and I thought of the dictators of the third world, waving their hands and arms around, sneering, showing off, bullying, and dripping with contempt for anybody who would dare to challenge their power. I watched this man and I thought, this is exactly why we need term limits. Not every politician who serves decades in office behaves this way, of course. Some are terrific, but too many aren't. Biden is exactly the kind of politician the founding fathers would have had nothing but disdain for. He couldn't have sat in the same room as the framers. I listened to Biden talk about how he's going to create jobs. The man's been in Washington for nearly 40 years. Look at what he's created. Talks about raising taxes on the rich. He is the rich. He came into public office with nothing, and yet somehow he's now worth millions. And for years he created this myth that he was a man. People would identify him with the average Joe, lunch bucket Joe. He's never carried a lunch bucket his entire life. Came out of law school, was elected to the Wilmington City Council, went straight to the Senate. No lunch bucket. Caviar for that working man. This is a crucial election. It's a crucial time for our country. And Joe Biden showed you no respect whatsoever. The laughing, the interruptions, the sneering, that was aimed at you. Of course, Paul Ryan was sitting next to him. But these debates are for you. These debates are for you to figure out what you want to do, to learn about these characters. And Joe Biden did everything he could to disrupt this process because he personally rejects it. He did everything he could to make it much more difficult for you to learn about the candidates, to learn about him, and to learn about Paul Ryan. As usual, it's about you, disrespecting you, just like when Obama in Roanoke, Virginia, in July, talked about, well, if you earn this, if you're successful, you didn't do it. When Joe Biden attacks somebody like Paul Ryan, a young man, earnest, hardworking, thoughtful, intelligent, serious, committed to this country, trying to come up with real solutions and reforms, he's attacking you. How dare you, the American people, even consider voting for somebody other than Biden and Obama? And he came on that stage with one thing in mind. I'm going to fill this room with my ego. I'm going to make my presence known. I'm going to take over this discussion. I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to mock. I'm going to distract. And nothing's going to stop me. Like Fidel Castro, like Hugo Chavez, like every other little jerk who thinks he should be running the world. That's who Biden reminded me of. Not a statesman, not a thoughtful politician. You watched him. You heard him. Does the man have integrity? Does he have intelligence? Are we supposed to take him seriously? Tell me, my liberal friends out there, does this not help explain why this administration is such a disaster and a failure? A guy like him sitting in the most crucial decisions this country makes? You know how he came across last night, ladies and gentlemen? As a punk. A punk. I've seen these punks all my life. I come from the same area he comes from. I'm from Pennsylvania. He's the guy at the back of the wedding party, or the back of the bar mitzvah, or the back of whatever you. The guy who's drunk at the back table making all the noise and everybody's saying, whose the hell is that? Oh, that's Joe. That's Joe. Tell me, my liberal friends, you proud of Joe? Think he did a good job? You think our nation benefited from this debate as a result of Joe's behavior? I think Joe humiliated this country in the face of the world. People looking in saying, how the hell can the American people elect a jerk like this? Now, conversely, Paul Ryan is Biden's junior by over 25 years. He was polite, he was respectful, he was serious, he was substantive, he was thoughtful, he was not allowed to complete a thought. His sentences were routinely interrupted by that phony journalist sitting there. Oh, well, she was a war correspondent. Well, good for her. But in this debate, it was pretty obvious she kept stepping on his statements. Who was the mature person at that table? Was it Biden or was it Paul Ryan? Who was the person who you would want helping to lead this nation? Was it Biden or Paul Ryan? Yeah, waving his arms around like Chavez. All right, Joe, let me deal with you this way, Joe, in a way that Paul Ryan couldn't. There's Joe. First thing I notice, he walks on the stage, right? He's got that rodeo clown buffoonish smile, his freshly bleached caps, that ghoulish, botched facelift, the obvious plugs on the top of his head. He looked like he was coming out of rehab, this guy. Did he not? He did to me. They had him hidden away for 6 days so the attack dogs could tell him how to attack. Let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the precipice of a financial disaster. Is this the clown you want as Vice President of the United States? Is this the clown you think can get things done to move this country, quote unquote, forward? I don't think so. Don't serious times require serious people with serious intelligence and serious commitment? I mean, I thought for a while there I was listening to Henny Youngman. Laughing. Oh, 23 million people unemployed. Oh, yeah, that's funny. 48 million people on food stamps. Oh, yeah. 1 in 6 people in poverty. Oh, yeah. $5 trillion in additional debt in 4 years. Very funny. Very funny. $1.7 trillion a year in regulatory costs, killing jobs all over this country. That's another laugher right there. Looming massive tax increases. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Continuing massive home foreclosures. Oh, that's a good one right there. Yeah. Median family income down by over 5%. What about that one? Oh, that's funny, too. The EPA so completely out of control, destroying the industrial heartland in this country. Let's hear that one. Yeah, oh, that's very, very funny. And I can go on. Funny, isn't it? Oh, this guy's a joke a second. Now, folks, I say all the time, we deserve better than this. We deserve better than this. We now have an opportunity to correct course. It's time to send these clowns back home. You know, we're a big country, and there's really a handful of politicians that make these decisions. I would say for Joe Biden, 40 years is enough. I would say for Barack Obama, 2 minutes is enough. Now, people sit here and they look at these debates and they judge them like a baseball game. Who's up and who's down on this question and that question. It's not a baseball game. This is a game for all the marbles. We have incredibly difficult issues ahead of us, made much more difficult by Obama and Biden. These men are incapable of leading this country out of the shadows and getting us off our back. They've put us here. Nobody, let me put it to you this way, no citizen with self-respect, after watching that debate, could vote for a ticket with Joe Biden on it. No citizen with self-respect. Joe Biden was mocking our electoral process, he was mocking the debate process, and he was mocking you. He was mocking you.
Mr. Scam Man, where is your dream? I thought my life would be all peaches and cream. Now I don't have a job and I'm out of money. And moving forward, things don't look too sunny. Scam Man, I'm so alone. Don't have a mortgage to call my own. So much for the roses and the clover. I'm using food stamps to feed a rover. Mr. Scam Man, we need a cure and not a worldwide apology tour. You're tearing down our country's good reputation by trying to make us an Obama nation. Scam Man, hey, don't touch a thing. Take more vacation time and work on your swing. We need a president a little wiser than a community organizer. Bum 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 bum. Oh, bummer, scam man. We can't forget you promised you'd reduce the national debt. That's what so many millions gave you their vote for. A change of your address is all we hope for, scam man. Hey, you're breaking our backs. Is it a penalty or is it a tax? Only half of us are paying our share. That's fair. He don't seem to even Obamacare. We all say no, no, no Obamacare. Yeah.
Hurry up, November 4th.
Can't get here soon enough.